Hello and welcome to BBC London This Lunchtime. I'm Victoria Cook. A council in East London claims the planned expansion of the ultra-low emission zone next month is forcing care workers out of their jobs. Havering says 3 out of 5 care workers who were surveyed thought they'd be badly impacted. The mayor has said he's working to ensure all key workers aren't worse off. Now, all this comes just as the case against the consultation on the ULEZ goes to the High Court tomorrow. But this isn't the first time that a scheme to clean up the capital's air has been challenged. Tom Edwards has more.
London was enveloped in a 40-mile belt of fog.
London has a long history of policies to cut pollution. In the 1950s, after the Great Smog killed thousands, legislation restricted coal burning, although not without opposition. Earlier than that, in the 19th century, after the Great Stink, the sewers were built.
The thing today is to actually just demonstrate the system works.
With the mayoralty, Ken Livingstone brought in the congestion charge.
This will of course benefit the environment, business and those who need to use their cars.
And later, the low emission zone, or LEZ, for trucks and buses. Opposed by London councils, they said it would make little difference to air pollution.
These were all, at the time, controversial projects, had their opponents, but of course now people just take for granted that these were the right thing to do.
Boris Johnson reversed the western extension of the congestion charging zone and delayed vans being part of the LEZ. But he also announced an ultra-low emission zone that from 2020 more polluting vehicles would pay in central London. That was too slow, said campaigners.
Yes, it is certainly true. If they want to continue to use those old polluting cars in the centre of town, then yes, they will face an extra charge, no question.
My name is Sadiq Khan, I'm the Mayor of London. What's your name?
The present mayor put in the T charge in central London in 2017, where polluting vehicles had to pay, and brought forward the ultra-low emission zone.
I'm not doing this overnight. It'll be from October the 23rd, the T charge, and from 2019, subject to further consultation, the ultra-low emission zone.
Well, when there are big problems like the Great Smog or diesel, you actually need big solutions. And when you have big solutions, you typically have debate about them, and that's healthy. But crucially, you need political leadership.
Sadiq Khan expanded the ULEZ out to the north and south circulars in 2019.
I think there will always be opposition because whenever there's change, there's winners and losers, even if we think that there's going to be more winners than losers in the long term. But that's not to say that the objections that people have aren't serious and valid. You know, there have been some proposed changes like the western expansion of the congestion charge that never did happen.
The contested expansion of ULEZ to cover the whole of the capital could bring pollution standards to the last vehicles in the last place left in London without them. Other cities are now starting on similar journeys. History shows us London's direction of travel. Tom Edwards, BBC London.
And you can read more about the arguments for and against the expansion of the ultra-low emission zone on our website. Next, rising interest rates will force more landlords to sell, worsening the capital's rental crisis. That's according to some in the property industry. London's rents are already at a record high because of a lack of homes and increasing demand. And data from property website Zoopla shows that 4,000 homes owned by landlords have been listed for sale every month in the capital so far this year. One landlord has spoken to our reporter Tara Welsh about how renting out his flat has now become unaffordable.
It's so stressful. It really, really is.
I hear people, they haven't even seen the place and they'll just send the deposit.
People were leasing apartments without seeing it, and yeah, there were bidding wars.
London is becoming harder to stay here if you're not earning a large income.
I mean, we moved last year and it was just mental to find a place. Like, we couldn't really, everywhere we went to just was like being outbid on.
It's like £300-400 more than the year before.
Just some of the experiences of renters we've spoken to over the last few months. There's already a supply and demand mismatch for homes, which has driven up the cost of renting, and there are fears it will get worse.
First one.
So what are we looking at there?
We're looking at
332.
332
Yep.
in March 21.
Yep.
In June 23 is 932.
Okay.
Paul is showing me his mortgage statements. Rising interest rates have meant renting out his flat is no longer viable.
The interest rates on the property have affected me greatly. It started off about 3 years ago paying £304. It's now £932 with another rise in the offing.
And you're losing money on the rent?
I'm losing money. I'm losing about £250 at the moment, so it's going to be nearly £300. So it is tough.
He's been renting out his home in Enfield for 4 years. He asked the tenant to leave, but Paul says he's refused, so he's going to court to get his property back. When he does, he's selling it.
I know of other people, other landlords that have got quite a few houses and they've sold some or tried to sell some, ones where they've got big mortgages on.
And those that remain in the market could put their rents up.
Rental prices have been going up and up and up. Landlords are really struggling because of rising costs of electricity, gas. Also, a lot of landlords will be struggling with buy-to-let mortgages going up as well. Although they form a small proportion of that group, they'll have to raise rents. Renters will be struggling. They won't be able to buy because they can't afford those high mortgages. They'll be stuck in the rental market, a market where landlords are upping prices.
Paul's flat is just one of many that won't now be available to renters in a city where there wasn't enough housing to start with. Tara Welsh, BBC London.
Next, a rare CD by Ed Sheeran is up for auction in Essex. Spinning Man was recorded by the musician while he was still at school, and it contains songs which later ended up on his albums. 21 copies are known to exist, 19 of which Sheeran owns himself. It goes under the hammer later today. Well, now we can head over to Wimbledon for the weather. Elizabeth Rizzini is there for us. Elizabeth, looking lovely, day one of Wimbledon.
It certainly is, Victoria. Very excited to be back here. Excuse me squinting into the camera because the sun has just come out again. Wimbledon nails, Wimbledon earrings, it's all exciting. The atmosphere is electric. I'm just opposite court number 1 here where the ladies' number 1 seed, Iga Swiatek, is playing, and there's still plenty of space too just behind me on Henman Hill, of course. So it's sunny at the moment. It's really rather blustery too. It's not going to stay sunny for the rest of the week though. Various weather fronts moving in from the west, and they will give us a few outbreaks of rain at times, some of which could turn out to be heavy. And this afternoon we could see some showers possibly interrupt play. It's most likely probably between around 3 and 5 o'clock a little bit later on. The westerly wind will also pick up. There will be some sunny spells and it should be a fine end to the day, but always watch out for the possibility of some more showers. Temperatures at 19 or 20 degrees Celsius, so a little below the seasonal average. Overnight tonight, then it's dry at first. Some of our temperatures could drop back into high single figures, particularly out towards the east for a time. But then we've got another weather front pushing eastwards, and this time some heavy, possibly thundery outbreaks of rain. It's going to be a wet morning commute, and some of that rain could possibly delay early play here at Wimbledon tomorrow morning. But then our weather front moves eastwards. Behind it, possibly some more heavy, thundery downpours on Tuesday afternoon. And then some sunny spells around as well. But it's really the rain through the morning that will be heaviest. Watch out for those showers as we go through Tuesday afternoon. And temperatures once again won't make it much past 19 or 20 degrees Celsius. As we head through the rest of the week, you'll notice temperatures starting to climb. It will turn warmer, more humid, a lot drier as we head into the weekend, with temperatures possibly peaking in the high 20s. It's all good news from here.
Elizabeth, thanks so much. That's all from us here on the Lunchtime team. Samantha Simmons will be here with BBC London at 6:30 later. I hope you can join her then. But for now, though, have a lovely afternoon, whatever you're up to, and I shall say cheerio. Bye-bye.